Hello and welcome back to our channel. Big news from the UK Home Office has just dropped, and it's a game changer for anyone looking to return to the UK after their settled status has lapsed. The rules for returning resident visa applications have been relaxed, making it easier than ever for individuals to re-enter the country, as long as they can demonstrate strong ties to the United Kingdom. This is huge, especially for those who've spent time abroad and are now looking to come back home. In this video, we're diving deep into the strong ties to the UK requirement for returning resident visas and exploring the different types of evidence you can use to meet this crucial criterion. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any updates. Let's start with the basics. If you've got settled status in the UK, whether it's indefinite leave to enter or remain, but you've been out of the country for a long time, that status can lapse. When that happens, the returning resident visa is your path back in. It's outlined in Appendix, Returning Resident of the Immigration Rules, and it's designed to help people regain their settled status and return to the UK. The key here? You've got to prove you've maintained strong ties to the UK during your absence. In a previous video, we covered the validity, suitability, and eligibility requirements for this visa. Today, we're zeroing in on the strong ties to the UK requirement and breaking down the evidence you'll need to make your case. So, what exactly are strong ties to the UK? According to paragraph RR 6.1 of Appendix Returning Resident, the decision maker needs to be satisfied that you've kept those ties strong while you've been away. The tricky part? The immigration rules don't spell out exactly what counts as strong ties, so it's up to you to make a convincing case. That said, there are some common types of ties that applicants often rely on, including family, business, and property ties, as well as the length of your original residence in the UK. Let's unpack these one by one. Family ties are often the most straightforward way to show strong connections to the UK, if you've got close family members here. Think parents, partners, children, or grandchildren. That's a big plus. Even more distant relatives like cousins, nieces, or nephews can count, as long as you've maintained a close relationship with them. But here's the catch. You've got to show that those ties have been actively maintained during your time away. How? Regular visits, messages, emails, phone calls, photos, exchanged cards or gifts, and letters of support from family members can all help prove you've stayed connected. When it comes to evidence, you'll want to include copies of your relatives' passports, naturalisation certificates or birth certificates to show they're British citizens. If they've got another immigration status, their e-visas, showing their right to reside in the UK, will do the trick. The key is to demonstrate the nature and frequency of your contact with these family members. Every family is different, so the evidence you'll need will vary. If you're unsure where to start, it might be worth getting some legal advice to help you gather and present the strongest possible evidence of your family ties. But family isn't the only way to show strong ties to the UK. Business and property ties can also play a big role. If you own property in the UK or have ongoing business ventures here, that's a solid indicator of your connection to the country. Evidence for these ties could include UK title deeds, mortgage documents, business records, or even documents showing business travel to the UK. However, the Home Office guidance is clear. Business or property ties alone probably won't be enough to prove strong ties. You'll need to combine them with other forms of evidence to make your case. Another factor that can influence the strength of your ties is the length of your original residence in the UK. Generally speaking, the longer you've lived in the UK, the stronger your ties are likely to be. The Home Office guidance acknowledges this, suggesting that a longer period of original residence increases your chances of being admitted as a returning resident. That said, even if you haven't lived in the UK for decades, you can still make a successful application if you've got strong evidence of other ties. The amount of time you've spent abroad and the reasons for your absence are also important. The immigration rules don't specify a particular ratio of time spent in the UK versus time spent abroad, but both are relevant. The Home Office guidance lists a range of reasons for leaving the UK, such as accessing health treatment, caring for family, retiring, employment or self-employment, and studying. If you've been away for a long time, you'll need to explain why and show that you're serious about returning. Evidence might include medical records, letters of enrollment at educational institutions, or employment letters. In some cases, a well-crafted witness statement explaining your reasons for leaving and your intention to return can make all the difference. If you're not sure how to approach this, getting some legal advice could be a smart move. Now, let's talk about the intention to settle requirement, which is outlined in paragraph RR 4.1 of Appendix Returning Resident. The decision maker needs to be convinced that you genuinely intend to return to the UK for the purpose of settlement. While the strong ties to the UK requirement doesn't rule out having ties to other countries, the intention to settle requirement does take your ties outside the UK into account. Strong family, property, or business ties abroad, along with the length of your original residence and time spent abroad, can all influence the decision-maker's assessment of your intentions. For example, if your entire immediate family lives abroad, you own property abroad, or you've spent a very long time living abroad, the decision-maker might question whether you're genuinely planning to settle in the United Kingdom. The interplay between the strong ties to the UK and intention to settle requirements means you'll need to paint a clear and comprehensive picture of your ties and intentions. So, how do you build a strong returning resident visa application? It's all about presenting the decision-maker with the right evidence to show your ties to the UK, tailored to your personal circumstances. This video has walked you through the different types of evidence you can use, from family, business and property ties to the significance of your original residence and time spent abroad. By carefully gathering and presenting this evidence, you can boost your chances of a successful application and reclaim your settled status in the United Kingdom. If you find yourself affected by these changes, we recommend taking several proactive steps. First, review your timelines and prepare yourself for any planned applications to returning resident visa. Second, consider seeking professional advice if you're unsure of how these changes impact your specific situation. Finally, stay informed about implementation dates and any potential modifications to the proposed changes to avoid any last-minute surprises. As we wrap up our discussion, we will continue to cover new developments as they arise and provide detailed analyses of their implications. If you have questions about how these changes may affect your application, feel free to drop them in the comments below. We will do our best to address them in future videos. That's it for today's video. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might need this information. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for more updates on immigration news and tips. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more immigration news and updates. We'll see you in the next video.